everybody. Welcome to the Mentor Touch Base. So this year we are doing a one-on-one matching for one mentor, one mentee pairing. We start with the discussion with Elena Komenko, was with Trisha regarding the program on mentorship preparatory course, and not a lot of participants as mentors were able to join it. And so thank you, Elena, for coming here today and giving us a few minutes of your time.
Oh, you're welcome, Joanne. Thanks for inviting me.
So let's make the most of it. Elena, I would like to start with what are the must-haves or essentials of an effective mentor. But prior to that, of course, feel free to say hi and hello to everybody. And I guess I'll leave to you the introductions from everybody else too.
Well, yeah, let's start with introductions. My name is Elena Komenko. I join you from Toronto, and I'm an executive coach and a leadership expert here. And I cooperate with women in leadership since 2014. So I'm very happy to be part of a mentorship program specifically and this discussion today, because I actually was a mentor in the first program that was launched in 2014. And since then, we cooperated with Toronto Chapter and with the Women in Leadership Canada Foundation for several years. And this year, we launched a specific program to prepare mentors to start this relationship with a little bit more of structure and discipline. So unfortunately, not everybody could join, I understand. So I'm happy and thankful for Joy for inviting me here. I have to share here based on our program that we put together with my partner Trisha Ryan, who also is a co-chair for Toronto Chapter. So we did it at the request from Women in Leadership Foundation to support mentors a little bit better in their preparation for this relationship. The challenge of this mentorship program is that it's kind of a short term, and people come together, many of them had never met before. So there's an added challenge of setting the relationship right from the very beginning and effectively use the time together. So we put together this program this year, and we will be repeating it next year, talking about specifics of mentoring and discussing differences between mentoring relationship, coaching relationship, and consulting relationship, where we train our mentors to be mindful in changing the roles, but being fully mindful of the fact that during this relationship, there are moments when we need to be mentors, and there are moments when we need to become coaches or just give a straight advice to our mentees. So the trick here is to understand the difference in the approaches and to switch mindfully. We also trained several skills which are essential for effective mentors. One of them was listening. And we had a whole session to discuss about several levels of listening, where we trained the difference between listening for facts, to understand the story, and listening for intuition, to try to sense what's needed for the mentee and for mentor relationships. And finally, we spoke about the critical skills of presence and accountability, which make mentoring relationship valuable and useful, and at the same time helping the mentors of the program to fit this commitment into their busy lives, because everybody is busy with work and family, and we don't want this relationship to be a burden for mentors. So we were discussing how to organize it so we can be present for our mentees, we can be helpful, but at the same time we can organize it so it's not another extra burden. Because the challenge from last year that we saw was that some mentorship relationship fell apart because either of the two parts couldn't hold a commitment to it because it was too busy, too much, too unorganized. So we paid attention this year to equip our mentors with those skills as well. So that's in essence what we did this year in the program.
So this is the mentor-mentee charter of agreement form. We're giving mentor and mentee as a pair to basically getting to know what is the key contact information that they have each agreed, and core skills from each side that is part of the expectation, where one can be a good contributor for, and contribution for the contribution part of each side, and setting expectations on the statements of purpose and impact. This is where I was referring to Elena, that I learned from you. So I added it here. Yeah, this is really good for self-awareness. And regarding goals and some areas to talk about potential barriers of achieving such goals. Ground rules could be talking about if somebody is not getting back within 24 hours, what is another way of reaching this person? Or in terms of cancellation, what is a great expectation to work around things? And then potential conflict, I don't see this so much of an issue, but it's good to acknowledge proactively from prior experience from either party that could be named ahead of time. Before I share the other two sheets, which is really more about feedback forms, Elena or Maureen, would you like to comment on this mentor-mentee charter from your experience or side of knowledge on the program?
Yeah, what I would like to say here is that that's a great tool to use at the start, like the second question I know you wanted to ask, or third one, how to start relationship. So one of the things we discussed in our program with mentors is designing the relationship from start. Like, in order to keep accountability for relationship to work and for progress to be made towards mentees' goals, it's important to set the relationship right from the very beginning and discuss important things. So I'm very, very happy to see this charter, because it really serves this very important purpose of designing the alliance, really talking about the rules of engagement and what everyone brings to the table, and in terms of cores and competences, and what other expectations in terms of goals, and how do you guys want to be together. So that's a great tool, and I'm really happy for you guys at the Vancouver chapter that you have this tool to use. Please use it, because this is one of the success factors of successful relationship.
So this is the post-workshop questionnaire I was talking about, and every workshop we shall have some evaluation from a rating of 1 to 5. And there should also be a monthly that I was talking about regarding monthly feedback form for mentors in the meeting here. So mentor-mentee progress feedback form. So this is just a visual of what I was referring to regarding evaluating on partnership. There's an essay part of it at the bottom, partnership growth, and also how it is in relevance to with the facilitators, how we can improve better. So has there been openness, feedback, constructive criticism? Has there been learning? And also we did not want to forget about integrity from 1 to 5 there. And
the two mistakes, one of them I already mentioned, that when we don't spend conscious time to consciously set up rules of engagement. So you have this charter as a tool, which will help you to do that. And then the other one is to really keep a simple accountability structure in place between mentors and mentees, and really take a moment at the end of every session to check with your mentees what's the accountability, what will they do as a result of this conversation, or what will they change, or what will they stop doing, and really take us accountability to completion. Like, when will this happen? How will I know about that? And then start every other next session with coming back to the accountability and checking on it. The interesting thing is that accountability structure at the end gives a very good sense of tangible outcomes. And using it at the beginning of next session actually helps us to frame our mentoring conversation. Learning will happen regardless of if that action was taken or not. And sometimes there will be more meaningful discussion when the mentees actually don't do what they said they will be doing, because there will be an interesting turn and twist in the conversation about how are they really committed to the objectives of mentoring? Are they clear on the objectives or goals they set? Has anything changed that changes the level of priority for those objectives? So these are basically two structures and things that we see people often forget about, and we know that they are definite success factors. The setting up the relationship at the start and using the accountability structure in every session. Those are the 2 points.
That's awesome. Yes, responsibility is a big word, and I always remind the mentees, and we've also indicated it in the kits regarding pointers and tips, that this is mentee driven, and there is no encouragement of making it think like, because now you have a mentor, your dreams will now come true. It's
Right.
it's a common myth. Right, Elena?
Yeah, it is a myth, and everything that's being done in mentoring relationship is being done by mentee.
Right. It should be driven by the mentee, and that the introductory will be all together with your mentee in one email. So it makes it warmer even to say hi, hello together once I've emailed you both copied in the same email, rather than one to a mentor and one to a mentee. It's going to be all in one email. So I hope that will help warm things up, and then getting everybody with a level of momentum to.
Joy, it's Nancy Cromarty here. I wonder if it might be useful for people, for the mentors, to have like the bio or the LinkedIn profile for each of the mentors, so we know the nature of where, like the background of the mentors. Is that something that we might be able to have?
That is correct. Yeah, included in the introductory email where I introduce you to the mentee and the mentor in one email together for you both. I will include the link on LinkedIn. I will include the notes that was given as they completed the registration online, so that you have an idea, and they also have a visibility, and there's a sense of transparency on what has been shared to you. I've also invited each one of you to be part of that LinkedIn group, and so you can look up among the members and their LinkedIn profiles. How do we not only start the relationship of the mentorship program, but also keep it professional, that it does have some length of duration or length of time for the mentorship to have its conclusion? Is it necessary that we actually end it, or how do we end it professionally for the sake of the program, and then whatever's beyond that, how do we handle it? So
that's a great question, Joy. And really, we see that the most meaningful relationship work for people when they have clear beginnings and clear endings. And it doesn't mean that after the end of the relationship, mentor and mentee will not communicate or will stop, connection. But the mentorship relationship needs to be ended mindfully. And I'm happy to see that you prepared so many wonderful tools for your chapter that would be very helpful if used properly to start the relationship mindfully, to track the progress, but also when the time comes, November, at the graduation day, we actually end a mentorship relationship and open the next chapter in our relationship if we want to continue as friends, if we want to continue as colleagues, and if we want to continue just as peers in the Women in Leadership Foundation. But one of the ways to end the relationship, or complete, we call it, the relationship, is to really spend some time looking back and acknowledging the progress of what had happened. And having all those great documents that you offer to mentors and mentees will be helpful. So you can look at the calendar and how many times you met, and what were the discussions, and what were the actions taken, and any meaningful improvements or changes just to talk about them and reflect on the meaning of that. Another good thing to do is to actually, for mentors, to think about what they have learned from the relationship. Because it's a two-way relationship anyway. And I hope the other mentors here will agree with me that when we enter a mentoring relationship, it's not that we're only giving, we're also receiving a lot of useful and meaningful things. So acknowledging that and thanking our mentees for that would be another great way to complete the relationship, and celebrate accomplishments that would happen. It's another third thing to do, and in combination, review progress, thank each other for learning, and celebrate accomplishments are the great three things that we can use to mindfully complete the mentorship relationship and have it become whatever it needs to become, or whatever we want it to be after the program is over.
That's a really great point. Yes. And yeah, the very important thing is to acknowledge not only lessons from the relationship, but also celebrating success. That's usually not mentioned when we've achieved something, right? So we can't forget about that. Getting started is part of our kit. And so where do you meet? How long should you meet? What should be discussed? It's all part of the form where you can write onto the charter, the mentor-mentee charter. How should you proceed, and establish what could be some contributions to support growth for each other. Must-dos, I've noted this to everyone, most specifically in the mentee portion, that it's a mentee to initiate, honor commitment from both sides, and making sure that we help the mentor help you. I mean, I'm talking about the mentees on their side regarding defining what they really want. So the charter will really help there. We've mentioned expect support and not miracles. Communicate early, clearly, and not only communicate clearly, but also, as what Elena was sharing, start clearly and not really necessarily finish off the relationship, but at least the program in a clean manner of evaluating it month to month. So the month to month feedback will be there to reassess if there's been an alignment and a measure of how significant or what the level of significance has been on the contribution from both sides. Being teachable from the mentee side and also from the mentor side in terms of the listening, that was the very first point Elena was sharing. To listen is the biggest thing. Usually it's really just about how things have been going and how they have been applying such learnings from the monthly gatherings. And then the follow through, and then calendar definitely is very big. And should there be any misunderstanding, handling it as they happen. So for the mentor suggestions from this meeting, I thought I'd also just share this, included in the printout in your packages also, and we'll also add this on the LinkedIn group and email. So dealing with a mentee, we noted that there is no expectation of a miracle, but there's also, I'm not reading everything, but just really understand that when an advice or a piece of recommendation is not necessarily taken by the mentee, there's no need to be offended in that advice if they don't follow through. And it's just a matter of constructive feedback. And there are mentees that may not be as ready to how we may be as a mentor in our personal lives as go-getters, and may not be as the same level at that point for the specific mentee, but at least we've shared as mentors how we've done it on our side or how the style they can do it on their end, but not necessarily by the book and how we share it with them. So yeah, and I like that Elena at the last but not the least there, that celebrating success. One of the mentors, and I can't remember who anymore, but you know yourself, so thank you for that pointer about saying that we seem to just know really what to do as professionals, but sometimes it's just good to have somebody say you are on the right track, and not necessarily a pat in the back and then congratulations, but really somebody to just reaffirm a little bit that you're not bad at all. So celebrating success and acknowledgement and recognition that such effort of a mentee is being basically noted and upheld. Yeah, really hoping that from this year with the new branding we're putting in, that it gets even bigger and better.
Just again, I would like to acknowledge the great support you have in place for the mentees and mentors, and I wish all the best for everybody and great learning and great support. Let's move women leadership forward together.